You're listening to 5 Before, a faith community podcast. Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any new episodes. For more information, check us out at faithcommunitylc.com or look for our app on iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Good morning and welcome to the 5 Before podcast. I'll be your host this morning. My name is Brandy Helton, coming at you live from the FCC studios. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning and encourage you, if you would like, to share or like our page or podcast. Anyhow, now that everybody's had a chance to log on, I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about the dry seasons that we go through from time to time as Christians. And a dry season, what I'm talking about here is times when we don't feel close to God, or we may not feel like God's close to us, even though we know that God's always with us. You know, we go through these times, through these periods of our life where it doesn't feel like He is always right there with us. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit this morning, and encourage anybody, if you're going through a dry season, that first of all, like all seasons, they're all temporary. You know, so that's important to know. And also, I got a couple more things that I wanted to talk to you about dry seasons. First of all, we need God in the dry season. David put it this way in Psalm 63. He says, "You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water." You know, David's saying, now he is actually in the desert when he's saying this, but he's saying that, you know, when he's in this dry place, when he's in this desert moment, he needs God. And I think that translates to the desert moments that we have in our lives. You know, knowing that God is with you and seeking Him and praising Him and worshiping Him can be really tough when you're in the desert, you know, when you're in these dry seasons. You might find it difficult to be grateful. I know that's something that I can completely understand. You know, when you don't feel the presence of God, it's hard to be grateful. Praise and worship might not be as easy when you're in a dry season, but the truth of the matter is that's why it's so important to do it, because, you know, when you get away from worshiping and praising, it's so cyclical, because you're not going to feel as close, and the less close you feel, the harder it is to praise and worship, and it's just a bad cycle to get into Anyhow, so I was thinking that, you know, dry seasons and deserts are very similar, and deserts are very useful. And so I thought about, you know, what is it about a desert or a dry place that makes it special? And the one thing is, I thought about, you know, you can learn in the desert. You can learn in your dry season. I can learn in my dry season, because that's when you have to practice patience. And that's when you have to learn to trust God's provision and timing, and that His will is always going to be right, even if it doesn't work on your schedule. So, you know, just remember, God's going to give us what we need when we need it. And since we don't understand the things the way God does, we can't always see why we should have to wait for His timing. And that's fine, but you have to trust Him. Another thing is, one of the keys to surviving in the desert is water. Jesus says in John chapter 4, verse 13 and 14, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty forever. The water that I give him will become in him a spring of water and welling up to eternal life." So, you know, when you're going, that's just another confirmation that you need God in these moments. And we need to understand what God already knows. And that's that beautiful things grow in the desert. Not just the patience and trust, but really, if you ever look at the plants that actually manage to grow in the desert, they are stunning. They have beautiful, cactuses have great flowers because beautiful things grow out of the desert. Anyhow, dry seasons can be seasons of transition or, just, I don't know. I don't know what your dry season is, but I do know it's temporary. And I do know that God's with you, even if you don't feel that way.
Thank you for listening to 5 Before, a Faith Community podcast. For more information, check us out at faithcommunitylc.com or look for our app on iTunes and in the Google Play Store.